What's up, and thanks for joining the party because we're the Dirty Rotten Casuals, and this time we're going to be talking Ubisoft, Skull and Crossbones, and whatever else we're playing because we play as much as we can. So let's get it. Ooh. What's up, and thank you for joining us once again. And like always, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Tell your homies about us because we're always talking gaming. We're talking basically everything. And when I say we, I always mean my boy, the Irishman, aka Brian. What's going on, man? How's it going?
It's going good, man. The first warm day that's like legit been nice in a while, and I have
Yeah,
had
man.
a rough winter. God, it's been so up and down. I've been gaming a lot because of it, but like I went out and ran a bunch of errands today, but it was kind of like
Nice.
coming out of a cave, like, oh, what year is it? And I'm all like dirty and my beard's all scraggly.
Yeah, man. It's
What
time to
are
get back outside when we're not when we're
what
not
are
gaming.
what are friends?
Yeah, man, it's time to get back out there because like we've been everybody's been doing a ton of gaming and all that kind of stuff. But like let's I was just telling a friend of mine today. I'm trying to like split that time up a little bit more in between gaming and doing stuff out together because like this past weekend we got to play some airsoft. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
IRL
man.
Call of Duty, we did well, except for that man that was like had an anger problem that you friendly fired. Like, bro, this is
Yeah,
not a real Call of Duty like
like
lobby.
it's
Chill.
okay.
Fuck,
Yeah, audience. So basically, like we're playing airsoft. It's got pretty much like Call of Duty rules to where there's different objectives, team deathmatch, like all that kind of stuff.
and friendly
Um,
fire is on.
yeah, and friendly fire is on. So if you hit someone, you can either be like, "Oh, sorry, I killed you," anyways, and keep running, or you can you can just be like, "All right, well, just take my life. It's all good. I'll go back." And basically, we were playing like what is it called?
It was
What
like the diffusal where it was kind of like of Counter Strike rules where
Yeah,
one
yeah,
team
yeah,
has
that's
the
right.
bomb, has to plant, and the other team has to defend.
Yep, straight up.
And we
So
were on defense, and I remember watching this go down. Go ahead.
one bad thing about airsoft is that well, not a bad thing, but you can't do fully auto weapons. But with this one they have semi-auto, but the only problem with that is that these weapons have like a very very sensitive switch on both sides of the gun that goes from safety, semi, full auto.
Mhm.
It happened multiple times with my gun to where it would basically be in that semi position and just be firing full auto.
Yeah, oh,
So,
I machine gunned people by accident a number of times. Like, oh, whoops, click. You just I was
oops,
looking at the coach, like, looking at the
my
ref.
bad. Yeah, so I was running and I ran and took a shot thinking I had it in semi, and I fired accidentally holding the trigger, and as I was bringing my gun down, I just like had to have hit him at least once, just once maybe. And my teammate went from quiet on the wall about I'd say like 20 feet away to just like, "Ah, God damn it, I'm fucking dead. Why is my teammate fucking shot me?"
It was
Like,
like a real
whoa,
life Call of Duty like lobby meltdown. And
whoa.
I was behind and I just saw you going, "What my bad, bro. You can take it. Whoa, my bad." Because like the ref was like say, like, "Oh, you hit him, blah blah blah, like do whatever."
Yeah, he
But
was like,
like
"You'd
I did
have to
not see the
sack."
guy having a full-on temper tantrum on the side.
Yeah, man. And the ref was like, "You'd have to like, take that. You'd have to swap lives with him." And I was like, "It's fine. This is
Yeah,
a game. Like, I
it's
don't care."
it's cool, bro. And like
Yeah.
the crazy
It-
thing is, he wasn't even one of the militia types. Like I
no.
thought the one of those dudes would
Yeah.
freak out. They were super nice, which is
Yep.
weird because the like the no, just no to any
Full
of
on
that.
militia. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
3% patches and everything. They were super nice to us, which
Yep. walked right up to us. Hey, you want to try our
Come on
stuff
over
out?
to our meetings. Like, no, 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 no,
No, no,
no.
no, 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 no.
He complimented my hair, and I was like, thanks. But deep down, I was like, is it because it's like Norse and Viking, and you guys are into that stuff? Like, yikes!
I think
But
I think it's
there,
because he straight up was turning 18 that day and was there by himself.
oh yeah, that guy was
Yeah.
young,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He told me, he was like, "Oh, today's my birthday," and I was like, "Oh, awesome, happy birthday, man!"
Hmm?
And his granddad was there, but that was the only person he knew there. So I was like, but he was super nice and like, "Hey, you want
Yeah.
to check? I've got airsoft grenades. You want to check them out?" And we were like,
Oh,
"Whoa,
and they were super serious. They were
yeah,
throwing real smoke grenades. It was fun as fuck, dude. I really
yeah,
enjoyed it. It's
definitely,
like a much bigger financial investment than us disc golfing, so
yeah."
I'm
No,
willing
thank
to
you.
just do it again, but like
A
just
month or
kind of
two from now, like I'm not trying to do it anytime soon. It's kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
golf in
like
that
do it every
sense.
once in a while, and it is
Yeah.
fun. But oof, I will say this: I felt old because I we moved that game of King of the Hill, just climbing up the hill
Ooh,
and then coming back down and going,
dog.
"Respawn."
At one point, me and this kid were hiding behind like a downed tree. Like, all right, cover me, cover me, cover me. And he and I, and I was like, all right, you ready? And he was like, yeah, yeah, I'll cover you. And he was like, all right, on the count of three, and I'm out. See ya. And I was like, I guess I'm not running up. He got shot like immediately. It was great. But yeah, man, like if you're not playing that really did scratch that like Call of Duty PUBG itch that I had. Like it's enough adrenaline to like really let you be like, "Oh yeah, I'm back in the game," but like the physical part of it is so it's much more physical than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
and
I
I
was telling
enjoyed
you,
that,
man,
honestly.
I've been trying to, like, put on weight because with valet and running, I'm burning a lot of calories, so it's been effort, like, I actually just meal prepped today, like, probably, since it's gonna be, like, a little cool for, like,
Mhm.
the rest of the month, and then it's really gonna warm up, I was like, "I'm gonna make this beef stew one last time just because it's, like, calorie dense," and I've gotten up to about 190, and I'm a lean 190, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm feeling good, I'm looking good," and then you like do that like cardio stuff, you're like, oh, I need to drop like 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
damn.
Well,
Like just because it's like just that extra like weight that you're carrying around. And we weren't even like we didn't even have the like gear that
the
these dudes
gear.
had.
No.
And
Well,
but that, like you
yeah.
said, they were also like kids to us,
Teenagers,
kids,
yeah, man.
teenagers.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I remember having energy and
Yeah.
I
No,
remember
but
what it was like before I smoked cigarettes.
even then, man, like at one point, because you have that mask on, you're just like you like I
Yeah,
run, I
restricted
run
breathing.
regularly. Yeah, and I was still just like just trying to catch my breath under that mask. So I,
Well, and
I will
also
say,
the adrenaline, man, like, I was, like, sweating, my heart was
yeah,
going
man.
even in the, like, slow periods where I was, like, creeping, I was just, like, kind of and I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,"
it
I
was
was, like,
so
trying
cool.
to take deep breaths to, like, chill out, like,
Yep.
"Okay, I'm chill. Pa all right," and just, like, walk back to respawn.
It's
But,
great, man. Like I
yeah,
said,
bro,
it gave
like
me it gave me real PUBG vibes, and there haven't been a lot of games that have given me that,
yeah.
other than the most recent game I'm playing, which I know I am very far behind, but I just joined back into the PlayStation crew, but
Ecosystem.
yeah,
Yes.
the PlayStation ecosystem. But I am playing Last of Us, The Last
Mm.
of Us Part One, the one made specifically for PlayStation 5.
Right, because there was they did like a remaster, and there
Yes,
was a lot of the discussion was this game isn't that old, does it really need a remaster? But everybody has said like, hey, this actually is like a good remaster. It's
the
like
the ray
not a
tracing
total
alone.
remake, the ray tracing,
Yeah,
everything got cleaned up.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's
what do you think, man?
honestly, it's like one of the better storyline driven games that
Mm.
I've ever played. Honestly, it feels like you're playing through a TV show or a movie, which is exactly why they're doing it, to the point where my for a lot of the game has been sitting next to me, and she's like, I don't know why they made a show. This is like a movie. This is just a movie. I was like, I
Mm.
know it's it's crazy, and I even bumped down the difficulty just a little bit, not all the way, but just a little
Mhm.
bit, because I was like, I don't want to sweat through this game. I want to casually play through this like post-apocalyptic uh fucked up game.
Pleb, get good, pleb. No,
Nope,
yeah,
nope, no,
no.
I won't, because I don't
Ga-
care.
Games like that, like, yeah, go ahead and play it on easy, enjoy the story. And like
Yeah.
I've seen like gameplay footage. I'm like, oh, the gameplay looks really intense, but so many of what I've seen is like cutscenes and character driven. And
Wow.
I remember years ago, Ali showed me the opening, and it was just like this
Yeah.
emotionally devastating,
Yeah.
woof. And so like the memes I've been seeing on TikTok is like friend that never played The Last of Us. Like, oh boy, the show is going to be good. Why are you crying? And like, because it's just like everybody knows what's gonna like. If you play the game, you know what's gonna happen. You're like,
Yeah.
no, no,
Oof.
it's fine. Just watch, watch.
Oh, I know I know I'm probably working my way, because honestly I haven't finished I haven't gotten even I probably haven't gotten halfway through. I'm probably sitting just under halfway. But I know I'm at a moment to where stuff's going to get real serious, and I have no idea how they're going to handle it, or how they're going to do it. But there have already been very emotionally driven moments where you're like, "Oh, that was a beautiful story," and then it's like, "Oh, that was a very very sad story." But
Yeah.
it was very beautiful. Just like,
See,
oh damn.
I've seen that, especially from reviewers of The Last of Us Part Two.
Yeah.
They have said that like, oh, yeah, I forgot there's people staying in the Airbnb above me and they brought dogs. I was like, "Who's barking? That's not my dog." Anyways,
Yeah.
they said that, like, they didn't really enjoy it as an experience because by the end of it, they were just so, like, emotionally, like, devastated and down because, like, they were like, "This story is a bummer." But I fucking love stories like that. One of my favorite movies, Alien, Silence of the Lambs, like, all the
Oh
dark
yeah,
shit,
man.
I
Yeah.
fucking love. I even I rewatched the Batman the other day while doing stuff like around the house. I'm like, you know what? I still really enjoy this movie. I know you don't, but I was like, yeah,
I
like
need to watch
I
it
like all the
again.
darker. I like all the darker shit. So when I saw this, people were like, "Oh, this story is so depressing." I'm like, I bet that's my jam then. Like,
Oof. And uh, yeah, man. You really whenever you do get the opportunity to play this game, you're going to enjoy it. And honestly, man, oh, but you're watching the show, aren't you?
no, I am not watching the show because I have not played the game.
Hmm.
I want to play the game. Like, is that out for PC? Because like that might be one that I when I build
I
a
don't
PC.
know. I think it is, but the problem with that
It
is
looks very graphically demanding.
yes, and that's kind of one of the great things about it being on PS5 is the fact that you get the ray tracing just kind of built in, and the only way you're going to get ray tracing with the PC, which you can play The Last of Us Part One on PC, but or I think oh, they said it's on its way, but it has not made it to PC yet. I didn't realize that.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay,
Well,
okay.
I know with ray tracing, like the hardware for like proper
Oof.
ray tracing is intense and like
Yes.
obviously very expensive.
Gotta have that
And
RTX. Yeah.
yeah, you know me, man. I'm more about the kind of the mid tier and indie games lately. So, and like I
Yeah.
said,
There's really no
I'm
need.
not trying to
No need.
drop $4,000 on a gaming PC. So,
And then on top of that, you got to have a nice monitor too, which I'm
mm,
learning. So you're spending a pretty penny just to be able to actually max out the graphics card to play the game how it's supposed to be played, even though you need a monitor to play that game properly.
hmm,
Like I can't imagine playing like Spider-Man or any of these racing games, anything that's very fast paced, even Call of Duty.
mhm,
But I just don't want to play Call of Duty, so I'm going to different games,
yeah.
different examples.
Well,
But
like we said, the airsoft has been scratching that itch
yeah,
because, like,
so
the shooting
that's
game
done for
lately,
me.
I'm just like, I'm not really like, uh, I was like, Call of Duty, I was over. Battlefield, obviously, I bring up all the time just because it's so disappointing. Even Halo isn't really at it, and like that's not where it's at. And like they with all the layoffs, I'm like, damn, not a lot of shooters that I like anymore.
Nope.
So and then apparently
I
PUBG is
honestly
just covered
feel
up with the people that stayed with PUBG, so you just get fucking wrecked all the time, I guess.
yep. And
But
that's I think the last time that I had a truly positive playthrough experience with a shooter. Unless there was a Modern Warfare afterwards, Battlefield 1. That was it. That was the last
we
time that I was
killed it
like,
on that game. I remember us.
that jumped the shark for me, man. That was it.
Well, because it was gorgeous, it
Yeah.
was well done. The battle pass extra whatever had a lot of expansion material. So like, yeah, that was the good example of like, okay, yeah, there's like a battle pass, but look at all this shit it gives you. And
Yep.
like you don't need it. You can still have the base game, but if you're serious about it, like we went ahead and got it and it was great. It was a great experience. And
Yeah.
like,
And I
I
don't
know
think
Battlefield
anybody
5 had, like, a really rough launch, and, like, a lot of people, like, did not like it. Apparently, it's in a kind of a better place now, but then, like, I don't know, man. I feel like they just,
I just
didn't learn their lessons,
no, and I
which
feel like it's grown stale. So there's really no there unless something comes out that is truly new and revolutionary when it comes to first person shooters, and not just like now we're adding superpowers and now we're adding shields and now we're adding like that's not really you're not
right.
really revolutionizing anything. You're just kind of putting more ingredients on it. Like it's
Mhm.
just it's too
Well,
much.
and
But
changing the things that have previously worked, there apparently Battlefield 2042 is bringing back the class system because like the hero system was so poorly received. But
hmm,
even if they did that, like the core idea was so wrong-headed of that game in general, and it's so buggy that like I've just lost any and all interest in it whatsoever. So I've moved on. I'm playing different shit now. So
yeah, man. And there's other multiplayers that look super crazy. Like I just saw someone post a battle on Elden Ring between two players that are like
is that what the ones that are
godlike.
spinning in the air?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's so
so
cool.
crazy. It really does look like there are human beings that if they truly had these powers and these abilities, they'd be like, oh yeah, this is easy.
Yeah. Like
Like
anime
they
shit, man.
yeah, it's crazy how fast these kids' brains work now.
Yeah.
And that's why I will say that a moment I am proud about is I did a month long rally sim racing challenge where there was like I think 40 races or something over a month long, and I went up against over 6,000 other drivers, and I still got 302nd place out of 6,000 plus drivers.
Damn, man. So
That
that makes you in
that
the top 5%?
Yes, sir. Top
Nice.
5%. So that was one of those things where it's like my reflexes are still kind of there. It's not like it's not necessarily like I can't keep up with these people that are now playing first person shooters or Elden Ring or any of these games. I just think these people have gotten so good at their specific skill set that they have gotten to levels that we just like we can't even comprehend. It's nuts, man. Like
Right. I mean, they got that's their specifics focus and they got their young reflexes on their side. And so for like, yeah, we could like hold our own if we wanted to devote our time and like practice, but we'd still just be holding our own and then like yeah, it just kind of makes it not quite as fun. So I'm
yeah,
kind of done with that. In fact,
I'm
like
trying to have fun, man. Yeah.
one of the games that I picked up that kind of scratched the itch in a weird way was this game called Chivalry, which is like
Hmm.
take a lot of the game modes of Battlefield but put it in medieval times, and it's like a melee focused like first person or third person
Oh,
uh
that's cool.
action game. So like instead of like having guns, you have like swords and axes and objectives. And I haven't played it in a bit, but I've been thinking about picking it back up because like you just run into battle and you like swing and try to get kills. You don't necessarily you die a lot just like in Battlefield, but you also get points for like the hits. And you get if you get a hit and then they kill you, and then the person behind you kills them, you get points for like damaging them.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
that like scratched that itch for me, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually a lot of fun." I kind of fell off of it, but then just recently, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord came out on Game Pass, which is like a halfway point between that and did you ever play any of the like I don't know if strategy games are your thing, but like do you know about like Total War, that game series?
No, actually, I do know the name, but I never played it. Never played.
So it's kind of it's like a grand strategy game, 4X
Hmm.
strategy, and like you're like building armies, like you have territories, you're building armies in these like little things, and you're moving them and try to conquer more territories. Whenever you get into a battle, it has this zoom out, and you get into these like large scale strategy battles. Bannerlord kind of reminds me of that, but it's like, hey, what if it was just you in charge of one army, and every time you're in the battle, it switches to like a third or first person view, and
Oof.
you're on the ground commanding troops and also running in and fighting as well.
Oh,
That's
that's
kind of it.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So I just got to a point where I got like a decent sized army and I'm like raiding villages and you get in and you're just a dude. There's no fantasy. It's a fictional medieval setting, but there's no fantasy beyond that. It is like
Hmm.
medieval weaponry and you cannot be overpowered. So I like get in, run with my bodyguards into a group of spears. They just get me in the skull. I'm out and I got to watch like hope my troops do well.
Are you
So
playing with other people, or is
no,
it
no,
like
there is
completely single
multiplayer
player?
to it, but it's a single player campaign.
Oh wow,
So,
so you
like,
still just have
you
to
have
sit
your
there and watch it play out without you if you die?
yeah, so,
Interesting.
you have the commands, and you position them before the battle and tell them either move here or charge or engage. You have different troop types, horse archers, regular infantry, cavalry, and, like, you kinda, like you can do shield walls. You can command them to make a shield wall, command them to spread out, do these different formations. And so, there was a battle where I commanded my infantry to go forward and their infantry clashed. And I assigned these two guys as my bodyguards to follow me. And I just ran behind the line with a spear, kind of like jabbing at the other line to to kind of help out and weaken them and draw their, and my infantry ended up winning because we routed like them and I came in with like
Wow.
a spear and jabbed them and then like as they were like getting more spread out and disorganized I switched to a sword and came in and just like "Ugh, ugh, ugh," and got a
Wow.
few
That's really
kills.
interesting.
But there's been a couple battles where I like went in too quick and I got surrounded by infantry and they just like fucked me up and I fell off my horse and it said you're out and you can toggle fast forward or not but your guys still have to fight, you can still win the
Oh,
battle.
that's cool.
You don't die, you just are out for the like die permanently. You're out for the round. So you can't command after that. And you just gotta let your guys do it. But it's very addictive. A lot of RPG elements to it. Like
Mhm.
you can get equipment. You have to like uh either buy or raid food to feed your army. You have to keep them fed and paid because
Oh
it's a
wow.
mercenary
Yeah, yeah.
army. So you like, I'll raid like some looters and steal their grain and then like steal their equipment, go back and sell their equipment to pay my troops. And you
Wow.
do like different like quests and tasks. And yeah, that's the one that I'm currently like really jamming on because I like strategy games. I like the first person aspect. It's kind of a good blend of both. It is a bit clunky, and there's a lot of loading screens, but
Mhm.
it's another like mid-tier game that I think first got really popular on Steam. That I'm like, all right, I can look past the clunkiness because I'm enjoying it. You know.
Yeah, man. And that's really, that's the goal for all of this stuff, man, is to be able to play something and actually be able to enjoy it for if you can get like 80 hours out of a game, like a game where, like you can put more hours in past the story.
Mhm.
But if you can get like 80 hours out of a game, that is a ton of content.
Mhm.
And if you can do it while it's still clunky and you're still enjoying it and all that kind of stuff, that's a solid win, man.
Yeah.
So all these people wanting to play stuff for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, like I get it, but like sometimes you got to draw the line. And then actually before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you about the Ubisoft story. Like, what's happening with
Mhm.
Ubisoft?
So, okay, I'll run through like a quick rundown of what
Okay.
happened with Ubisoft, and I'll lead that into the disappointment again. The gaming, the gaming space is
Yeah,
so full
yeah.
of disappointments. But so not long ago, Ubisoft announced the cancellation of three unannounced games and
Oof.
another delay for their upcoming pirate game, Skull and Bones. And
Oh,
so that means that their stock price fell by, I think, in the last year, 24%. And there was a whole drama about the CEO of Ubisoft sending out an email telling the developers that it's in your hands, and like they got
yikes.
pissed off because they feel like there's bad leadership. Then he kind of half-ass walked it back, but
Oh, just FYI, in the past year, Ubisoft has lost 60%.
god damn.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
And they may have been like pumped up at some point, but it does not seem like it because in 2018, their stock price was at $24. Today, it is worth $4.33.
yikes.
So
Well,
they
even in
have been
2021, it was worth $20.38. So
that's
like a
crazy.
little decline, but like, yeah. Well, the crazy thing to me is that like they announced another pushback for Skull and Bones, which I don't know if you're like super familiar with that game, but
No, no.
did you ever play Assassin's Creed Black Flag? That
Yes, I
was like the
did.
last really good one.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure.
Yeah. Basically were like, okay, let's take the pirate mechanics of
Uh,
this and make it a full game. That was kind of the idea.
hmm.
Um so which everybody kind of said like when Black Flag came out, they were like, "Oh, this is like a really big like addition and this makes it like really fun." It's really the last one I played and really enjoyed. And they
Yeah.
were like, "You could make a whole game about this." And then they announced the trailer years ago and it looked just like that. Like, "Oh, sweet. Black Flag, but like all the pirate focused stuff and expanded on that."
Wow.
Um I think that was 6 years ago
Wow.
when they had the announcement trailer, and it's just been stuck in development hell, as well
Wow.
as Ubisoft owns, and is working on, Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is now has the record for longest in development. It just beat out the disastrous Duke Nukem Forever, and it is still considered early development. Like, there's not been a lot of updates. But so they're like, okay, this is getting pushed back again. What's going on? Apparently, they entered into a deal with the Singapore government, went to work on Black Flag in Singapore or whatever. But the deal was they couldn't like cancel the game, and it looks like they've tried, but they can't weasel their way out of it. And the just recently they had playtesters get to it and they ripped it apart. One of them said,
Wow.
this game needs to be pushed back another year. Another one
Wow.
said that it's just full of like bugs. And a third one said, particularly brutally, I've been playing for 6 hours and I haven't had a single moment of fun. And it's wild to me because it's like you guys came out with Black Flag 10 years ago. You had the bones of everything already there. Like, where did you go wrong? Like with all the stuff that's been going on with this company, it's just like, are you guys just like complete clown shoes? Like, do y'all just
Well,
not know what you're doing? Like leadership wise?
I
What the
and
fuck?
I think what it is yes, there probably are a lot of like money driven leadership, like money driven answers to questions that don't need that. There's like a lot of things that they're doing, I'm sure, that are driven by money that's kind of like messing up the actual development of this game, like cutting people and not paying people and all of this kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
I also feel like it's these games they're trying to be bigger than what they can actually handle. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these games is like from what this seems like, it seems like you are just sailing around the Indian Ocean in a custom ship, fighting other ships. Like that's a massive game. Like that's
Mhm.
a massive game. For all the different islands, like all that stuff that you're probably going to be bouncing around and dealing with the waves, dealing with the wind, all, like and like you said, the bones are there, but I'm sure they're probably like, oh, we hear everybody's into ray tracing. We got to get some ray tracing in there. do you know what that means?
Mhm.
And they're like, just get some ray tracing in there.
I'm pretty sure they, like, went completely like, multiple times, like, scrapped and started it over saying it needs to be, like, a totally
Wow.
different style of game. I'm sure that they're trying to figure out a bunch of microtransaction stuff because I think one, playtester said that it's, like, very grindy. Um,
Mm,
but, like, it sucks because there aren't a lot of good pirate games out there, and I remember
no.
there being good pirate games. Like, did you ever play Sid Meier's Pirates? It came out on the Xbox
Mm-mm.
One, that's how old it was.
Oh wow.
And I played the original on the NES.
Oh
I'm old as
wow.
fuck. Um, but, like, yeah, no, the Sid Meier's, like, like, you can download it off your Xbox right now. I think it's 250 megabytes, but it's still, like, a fun game. You know what? Ironically enough, Mountain Blade 2 kind of reminded me of it because of, like, the interface of it and, like, the way you're, like, going from place to place and you just see, like, an enemy
Hmm.
army. It's kinda how it was in Sid Meier's Pirates. You'd have a ship, and you'd be sailing through the ocean, you'd see another ship, and you could either decide to, like, ignore it or take it on or whatever. But it was a very simple game, but it kinda captured it was a little silly like other Sid Meier's games of, like, the characters are all speaking gibberish and like, but, like, they just, like, do emote and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's cartoonish, but it kinda captured, like, what made it fun. Not a lot of, like, other pirate games come to mind, man, and actually Black Flag was, like, the most recent one to where everybody was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is like pirating, but fun."
Well, I think there was another one. I can't remember the name of it, but an old coworker of mine was like, you have got to play this game. It's so cool. You can play it with me, man. We can be pirates together." And I was like, I
Was
don't
that
feel like
Sea of
playing that.
Thieves?
Yes, Sea of Thieves.
That
That's
one is
definitely another one.
very popular, but it's a
Extremely popular.
well, it looks like a big time sink, and it also that one is particularly cartoony.
Yeah.
And, like, yes, I think I have a friend on Facebook, Kelly, who I went to SCAD with, and she's, like, plays it a lot on Twitch. She's actually gotten
Hmm.
really popular doing it, but, I tried it out, and I'm like, "This looks like it could be fun if you had friends that were also as equally invested in it." But it's kinda the same thing with Destiny 2. Like, I was like, "Oh, like, Destiny 2 was great," and I played through it, and then I realized, like, "Oh, I don't have any other friends that play this game, so it's not as fun."
Yeah. Yeah.
That looks like a very necessary part of that game, but also, I would kinda like to play, like, a little more real pirate game. That's why to
Yeah.
see Skull and Bones, like, just waffle the way it has and, like, just the fact that, like, all the news about it seems bad is, like, disappointing 'cause I was like, "Oh, man, if you could just do Black Flag, but with, like, more ships and more customization and
Oof.
more
Yeah.
trading and, like, more of those piratey mechanics, it would be a lot of fun." But apparently behind the scenes, everybody is just going, it's
Like
really
basically
crap.
they could have just had Assassin's Creed and just like made all of the on land elements smaller and made all of the pirate elements larger.
Well, apparently the playtester, said that there are no on-land elements, and that's a big problem because, like,
Well, you can't even
you don't
walk around.
apparently not, like,
Oh
you can't
no,
walk around the
trash,
towns, you can't,
trash.
like, board and fight the other yeah, it's like, wait, you
You
guys
can't
didn't
get
even
on the other ships.
like, not like you couldn't Black Flag
What's the
apparently?
point? What's the point?
W I
What's the
I
point?
don't know, it's, like, such a
It's
big
just that
L
you know what
design
they were probably
decision.
trying to do. They're probably trying to make Horizon, but for pirates. You get what I'm saying? Like Forza Horizon, to where it's just like, oh, we just all have customizable ships, and I paid this for this flag, and I have this mast, and I have this sail, and I have this like they like I said, like you said, microtransactions and all of that kind of stuff. Like
Mm.
you're just buying items. That's
I
all
mean,
that
we are
seems
talking
like.
about the company that, like, released I think I forget which Tom Clancy game it was, but, like, literally everything was microtransactioned and, like, nobody played it. It, like, was a complete failure, and even, like, people who don't mind, transactions were like, "This is, like, ridiculous." Like, every, like, little piece of equipment, everything is like
That's
I'm
what
like,
it
"Oh,
is,
you
man.
guys are gonna do this with a pirate game?"
Yep. That's exactly
So
what it is. You're not supposed to get off the ship. It's like a I think a lot of these companies have figured out like there are certain games that they can just put out that no matter what, People are going to buy it and then deal with the microtransactions because they just want that game.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, like I guarantee you, Bungie made a bunch of money off of Halo, even though nobody's playing it now. You know what I
You
mean?
mean
Like,
343?
or 343, excuse me. Yeah,
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 yeah. A
yeah.
Bungie jumped ship for Destiny, and,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they've been doing well with that
Yeah,
for a while, but yeah, I'm sure they just put it out. It's a typical cynical leadership thing of like,
yeah.
"Oh,
It's
like,
gonna make its
that's why
money.
it's
Let's keep it
so
moving.
that's why it's so funny, like, they only think in terms of, like, IPs and,
Yeah.
like, "We're the grand idea people," but, like, your ideas don't mean shit if you don't do it well. I
If you
forget,
don't
like,
follow through, it's not fun, man. It's got to
Video
be fun.
games video games are kinda I remember Bob Chipman, said this about movies, and it applies to video games too, but, like, he said, "It's not what a movie is about, because a movie can be about anything, it's
Yeah,
how it's about it." Games are like
exactly.
that, but, like, to the nth degree because you can make, you can make little simple puzzle games, you can make,
You could make The Last of Us and you could make Stray.
yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
there's a lot there's you could have this deep, dark, introspective story about a post-apocalyptic world, or you could be a goat that knocks people over in Goat Simulator.
Dude,
Like
I've put
it,
more hours into, like, Stardew Valley, which is a pixel art farming sim,
yeah.
than I would've in most of these, like, AAA games because they just made it well.
Yep.
Sorry, 1 dude, Chucklefish, 1 dude made that game, and he made a better game than entire companies are managing to make. Like, Saints Row cost $100 million, and you forgot that came out.
I didn't know it came out. And
Yeah.
I didn't see it pop up anywhere. No social media, nothing. So you know nobody's playing that game, man. And honestly, like let's not get into how bad that game is. Let's go ahead. Let's
No,
go ahead
no,
and
no. I just wanted to mention $100 million
oof,
turd.
gone.
Just
Gone.
whoops. Oh well.
I wonder how much I wonder how much it made. I don't want to get into that. Well,
We'll
that's a
save
whole
that.
other show. That's a
Yeah.
whole other show.
I
But
mean,
all right, man.
ugh.
Once again, it was awesome talking to you about these games. We'll have to get on the game soon at some point and get some rounds in, maybe on Rocket League or even Fall Guys, man. That shit's dope too. So it's always good
Yet
playing those
another
type of
simple
games.
game that
Yep.
was knocked out of the park.
Straight up, man. Straight up. Just fun. But all right, Irishman. I'll catch you on the next time. And honestly, everybody, thanks for joining us. And if you've watched all the way through, thank you. Thank you for not being those people that like watch until we stop talking about the game they like and then they turn it off. Don't be one of those people. Watch the whole
Yeah,
video.
you
Yeah, don't
dicks.
yeah. Yeah, don't do that. And honestly, if you're a good person, good people subscribe. Good
Yes.
people subscribe to
Good
the
people
show.
subscribe and support small creators like us. And if you don't,
Yeah.
you're a bastard.
Yep. And you have to support small creators until those small creators become large creators. And then you got to support the large creators. You got to do it. You got to keep supporting those day ones, man. Stay with us. Stay with us. Cause we
Yeah.
got a lot more coming. We got more episodes, more news, more gaming talk on the Dirty Rotten Casuals. So, catch you next time. Peace.
Later.